Let's go, let's go.
Those screams you just heard are not from real victims of a shooting. It's chilling audio used by the Palm Springs Police Department to simulate an active shooter situation.
The department is ramping up that type of training for its officers as the nation sees a rise in mass shootings, including on school campuses. News Channel 3's Jennifer Franco geared up and went alongside officers as they tested their preparedness. And Jennifer, was this drill in the works for a while?
Hi, John and Karen. Yeah, so last month, actually, we reported on a powerful statement by the Palm Springs Police Chief where he called the law enforcement response in Uvalde a failure. That tragedy inspired PSPD to evaluate its own capability of responding to an active shooter situation. I was invited to go through an assessment to see exactly what it's like. It was truly an eye-opening experience. Take a look.
Look over your head. Okay. Can you get that side, please?
Yeah. The simulation starts with a call.
Multiple calls, shots fired at Penn Elementary School.
Okay, partner. Then an adrenaline rush. Wearing protective equipment, my partner and I run towards the threat. Reaching the front of the building, we run into volunteers acting as victims, exiting in a panic. I feel a sense of guilt, not stopping for someone who is wounded on the ground asking for help. But our mission is to find and eliminate the threat. I'm on edge as I go in first down a hallway with my partner behind. My heart is racing, knowing I could get shot at any moment. Then suddenly bullets, the non-lethal kind, start flying at me fast. Slowing down the video, you can see the shooter pop out in front of me, firing rounds my way. I fire back, anxiously trying to hit him with every pull of the trigger before he could hit me. I take him down and I feel some relief, but I keep going, unclear on whether other threats are in the building. This is the officer posing as that first shooter.
Trying to get you guys to scatter and go into different rooms, which you guys didn't do, which was really good.
In this scenario, the building is dark. My partner and I scan the area using lights on our weapons.
This building is used to simulate what it would be like for both officers and volunteer victims in the event of an active shooter situation. There are obstacles and distractions creating a chaotic setting, putting officers to the test.
PSPD officers train with semi-automatic rifles, similar to the weapons used by the gunman in at least 16 high-profile mass shootings nationwide since 2012. This year, 356 people have been killed by mass shooters, including 190 children under the age of 12.
You lose the fact that you just fired 30 rounds.
Lieutenant Gustavo Oreza is in charge of the department's training division.
How long ago did you start doing these assessments?
This particular assessment is probably the first one we've done in about 7 years.
California does not require police officers to take active shooter training, but PSPD restarted these drills in response to the Uvalde school massacre.
What we don't want to see is an officer go in and just freeze because their senses are overloaded. So that's why if you went through this scenario, you had people screaming, people running towards you.
Since late June, Lieutenant Oreza says a majority of the force's 102 officers have gone through the assessment.
We wanted to give them a scenario and have them run into this cold. What we found out were some of our officers didn't have any training at all.
Volunteers from the department's Explorer program help put on these scenarios.
How do you feel about the fact that the Palm Springs Police Department is actually making a coordinated effort to ramp up these sorts of trainings at a time when, unfortunately, it seems like mass shootings are more common?
Hopefully other departments see it. I know other departments around the nation are doing the same training, and at the end of the day, it's to make sure people go home to their families.
Now, the chief of police and instructor are working to give the department feedback on their strengths and weaknesses.
We still can't forget our tactics. Running the walls, making sure not in the middle of the open, moving with speed and aggression.
Yeah, John and Karen, before that drill, I had never experienced anything like that, so it really gave me a different perspective.
And with all that going on, what was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, it's tough to stay focused in an environment like that. I mean, I was trying to move quickly, but also not make the mistake of firing in the wrong direction. So I really see how valuable these trainings are for officers. Also, the chief of police told me the department is planning to pull the main learning points from these assessments, like decision making and mindset, and then that's what they want to apply when they eventually hold a large-scale training with the city's fire department and potentially one of the high schools. And For more details on what the department has planned, along with that sit down that I had with Chief Mills, which ultimately led to me doing this training in the first place, our viewers can visit KESQ.com. Live in studio, I'm Jennifer Franco.